right, what's up, guys? Let's drink a little coffee. Let's talk about Sublocade. Sublocade is an injectable buprenorphine, okay? Used for opiate addiction, opiate withdrawal, opiate use disorder, whatever word you want to use and how you want to think about it. It's a monthly injection. It goes under the skin in the abdomen. It creates like this blob that slowly dissipates over the month in order to kind of give you a daily dosing of buprenorphine to help prevent your withdrawal, your cravings, your relapse on opiates, okay? So, it gets a little confusing though because of the dosing, all right? But basically, you would want to be on buprenorphine for a couple weeks, either in Suboxone or Subutex, the sublingual version, and at an 8 to 16 milligram dose per day, okay? And then you would start the injections after, if you were stable with that. You would take a shot, 300 milligrams the first month. Then the next month, you would take another shot of 300 milligrams. Then you would go down to 100 milligrams monthly, okay? So let's talk about this dosing and how does it like equate? I mean, are they similar, okay? And I want to tell you that basically, you know, one thing you need to know is that just because the book says it's going to, you know, work on you this way, it might be different, right? Everybody, their metabolism is a little different. The way things work just doesn't, not everybody reads the book, you know what I'm saying? So, but basically, if you looked at the dosing, like the peak concentrations of the medicine in the blood, the 100 milligram shot is going to be similar to somewhere between like an 8 and 10 milligram dose of buprenorphine sublingual, close to that, okay? And the 300 milligram dose is probably going to be closer to 16 to 24 milligrams of buprenorphine. So, you know, why is this important? Well, like let's say you've thought, hey man, the shot would be a great option to taper off of everything. And it might be, right? But if you've tapered it down to very low doses and then you go on the shots, your dose is going to shoot back up. You know what I mean? And this may be okay. You know, this might be all right for you, but it may be going kind of backwards for what you're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish. So I really see this more for folks if you're using it to taper. Now, they don't have a mechanism for tapering with this medicine, although there may be some new versions of this coming out soon at lower doses, and that would be extremely helpful. But I have heard, I've not utilized this with any of my patients, all right? So I don't know this firsthand, but I've heard that several people have done, you know, like several months of the shots, and then they just stopped getting shots, and that last shot just slowly left their body, and it basically tapered itself. And if this works for everybody, that would be, you know, a great method of tapering this medicine. You know, I think this could be extremely helpful. I've said before that I think this is the future of medication assistance, because a monthly shot you can get at the doctor's office. You know, the doctors don't have to worry about compliance. We don't have to worry that somebody's taking extra medicine and selling it, or, you know, having any of these kind of complications or problems. We know they're getting their dose. We're not worried that they're coming off of it for the weekend and partying, etc. That we know that the dose is in their system and it's going to give them, you know, a good, stable foundation for recovery. That being said, I mean, it is a shot. It can be painful. It's a very large gauge needle that goes under the skin. You have this kind of, like I said, this like ball, this blob that's going to sit right there in your belly for the month. If you have complications from it, it can be cut out. But anyway, you know, you don't want that to happen. But I mean, it's just under the skin, so it shouldn't be too invasive of a procedure. I mean, the doctor who puts it in should be able to take it out if it's a problem, okay? Now, what else would you want to know about it? So, again, I see this as a potential benefit for people trying to taper. I think the mechanism of just stopping shots after you've been on it could be very helpful. I think it's also very good for people who maybe don't trust themselves with dosing. I think it could be helpful for people who've failed other types of buprenorphine as well. I'm not saying it has to be a second option, but obviously, you have to basically be on buprenorphine initially anyway. Most folks also, who are going to be on the shots have been in recovery programs or, have been on Suboxone, possibly for years off and on or whatever. But costs can be an issue. It's an expensive medication. What are other potential problems? Obviously, you can have like a site reaction, issues of getting the injection. You have a potential for infection anytime you inject something into your body. If you're thinking of, obviously, also, if you're thinking of taking Sublocade, talk to your doctor. This is not going to be something you're probably going to find on the street. So you definitely need to talk to your doctor and discuss if it would be okay for you. Think about those doses I talked about. Now, what about the reason? Like, why are there 300 milligram shots than the 100 milligram? Well, it's because you're trying to reach steady state. So that like every month you get your shot, you're not having like these big spikes and drops. You just kind of level, okay? But it takes a couple months on the 300 milligram dose, then going down to the 100 milligram, you're kind of at that steady state, okay? Can you just take the 100 milligram shots? Yes. It's going to be similar. You're going to be at steady state in about 4 months, after about 4 injections probably. Even though I know you think, well, and I read this in different places, but 300 milligrams times 2 is 600 milligrams, but it would seem that the 100 milligrams every month for 4 months can get you there as well. So that's another option for folks if they didn't want to start that high dose. But again, the high dose at the beginning is not because you're needing a higher dose, it's to get you into steady state sooner so that you're in steady state at that, the 100 milligram dose, okay? So I hope that made sense. I know, man, dosing with this stuff, it gets kind of tricky and it's kind of strange to get your head around. So I've done a couple videos about tapering with these different methods, and I think this would be an okay option for people who maybe are stuck at that 8 milligram dose and they want to taper off, but they just can't either, they just can't find a way. Maybe the alternating method didn't work, maybe just slowly lowering didn't work or whatever. Maybe they're like, hey, I just want to be off in 4 months. This might be a good plan. Two shots of the 300 and then 2 shots of the 100 and then just letting it go. That might be a good plan. What about somebody on a low dose? Well, I think there we might want to look more at either the tapering methods I've mentioned before about spreading out the dose on a timeline, maybe still utilizing alternating doses, or maybe going to the patch, Butrans patch as a way to taper off at very low doses if you don't feel like you can continue to like microdose and cut up your medication in small amounts. That might be another option. So another benefit of the injection and the patch that I didn't think about saying on the last video is that because of the new warnings with dental decay and dental issues with the sublingual version. So this is another reason you might want to consider the Sublocade injections. Now, I'm not pushing these medications. I get no compensation from the companies with these medicines. I'm not going to monetize this video. So I'm just here giving you information. I want you to talk to your doctor. And again, I say this all the time. I want to say it again. Listen, guys. These medications are to assist you. They're to help you in your recovery. They are not your recovery, okay? Your medications are not your savior, okay? Look to live your life with purpose. Live your life in a better way. And recovery then becomes your tool to get to the place you want to be. So your medicines are there to assist you in your recovery, and your recovery is there to assist you in your life. So, all right, guys, I hope this was helpful. I'm probably going to do like a joint video with Kickin Addiction, and we're going to discuss more. So if you have questions or comments, put them down there, and hopefully we can discuss with a video possibly next week. I'm not sure if we're going to do it live or if we're just going to pre-record and see what happens. So, all right, guys, peace.